737 Hudson Valley Focus live. Harold King, Council of Industry, in the studio, and Robb Engle, let's see, Vice President of Engineering. Did I get that right? Vice President of Engineering is here.
So Sono-Tek Corporation is a member of the Council of Industry, has been for quite some time now, about 25, 30 years. They are a fascinating company. I'll let Robb explain exactly what they do, but a very innovative, high-tech company, one of the hidden jewels here in the Hudson Valley in terms of manufacturing, and I'm really pleased that Robb is joining us in the studio this morning.
Of course, you're right over on Route 9W in Milton, south of Highland.
That's right, Milton.
And so, Robb Engle, give us a little history and who is Sono-Tek and what do you do?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Before I get started with the history, I just want to say it's really an honor, and I'm really feeling a lot of humility by being able to represent my company here today. We've got such a great group of people over there and doing such special things. So, I mean, anybody over there could have been here on the radio this morning to represent us, but, you know, Harold called me out and Steve said, go ahead and go, so here I am. The history of the company goes back a little over 40 years. We just celebrated our 40th anniversary this summer of incorporating. It was really based on the work of Dr. Harvey Berger. He was a local guy. Mm-hmm. He grew up right in this area. He went to NFA down in Newburgh, where he was the valedictorian.
There's Newburgh Free Academy?
Newburgh Free Academy, right. And he got his PhD up in RPI. And he was a world-renowned physicist, and he was very famous, and he was very accomplished, and he was sought after by a number of the different special groups that were going on at the time because he had distinguished himself so much. But what he really wanted to do was help people. And at the time, there was this global or this U.S. oil crisis that was going on, yes. And he wanted to help people with their home heating situation. So he decided to take up this idea of ultrasonic atomization. And he came up with this way to commercialize ultrasonic atomization, and really, he just wanted to help people. Mm-hmm. He was really, and that part of his personality just resonated throughout his career and through the company. And he created a culture that really attracted some very special people, and that what really makes the company really very special is we're just filled throughout all of our ranks with hardworking, dedicated, good people that really want to help each other succeed, and that's what makes it a great place to work.
That is really the American story. I mean, that's what is supposed to be the American story, and the people who go out and they see a need for something, and Robb Engle, the point that you made about his motivation was to be able to do something that would help other people's lives better.
That's what it was. That's really how it got started. And that's really how we've continued the company. The company has responded to a number of other global crises, like in the late 1980s. I'm sure you remember, everybody was talking about the ozone layer. Yes. Well, the ozone layer was being torn apart not by your home air conditioner or your car. It was being torn apart by electronics manufacturing, printed circuit board manufacturing. Mm-hmm. They had a chemistry situation that was going on that was just not right, and they're dumping Freon onto these boards to clean them. And when the chemists came out with a different formula to make the printed circuit board manufacturing industry successful, they needed a nozzle, an atomizer that wouldn't clog. And it ends up that's what Dr. Berger made. He made an atomizer that wouldn't clog. So now our Fluxer product is running in lines all over the world. Probably 50% of all the electronics that are made in the world are processed with our equipment.
It almost leaves me speechless to think about, and looking at your website, which is Sono-Tek, and that's SONO-Tek.com. I mean, it lists you on there as really the world leader in this kind of equipment. I mean, that's a story, Harold, that we've had other folks in here, right here in our Hudson Valley. This little old Hudson Valley produces just unbelievable people. I mean, the numbers of patents that we have out of the Hudson Valley is truly one of the highest in the nation.
In fact, just in the past 3 weeks, and including 4 weeks coming, Sono-Tek is going to add 3 new patents to our portfolio.
Wow.
They have some incredibly talented people, and Robb mentioned that they attract that kind of person, and I think the reason they do is comes from the leadership. It is a culture where they everyone contributes and everyone feels like everyone has to contribute, and then everyone is recognized for the contributions that they make, and they're in the boat all pulling in the same direction at the same time, and that comes from a very effective leadership. And we're proud to have them as a member. They're, as I said earlier, they're kind of the poster child for that innovative high-tech company here in the Hudson Valley.
And these are the people, Harold, who really are, in the largest majority, the job creators.
Very, very true. And I think, too, wealth creators is another thing that you want to talk about. I mean, most of their business is not within 15 miles of the plant.
Right.
But they are bringing in a lot of cash from around the world that comes in and gets pumped in through our economy.
When I came to join Sono-Tek 15 years ago, I was faced with the choice of either joining Intel, with my experience, probably would have been a pretty good career. But, I really gravitated towards the idea of a small company where the people you work around, they become your family.
Yes.
And you work with the people around you for 15 years, and it just develops a culture. We have what I consider to be a very special culture in the company where we always try to promote from within the company. And by doing so, over the course of the last 15 years, we've created this environment where the people looking up are looking up to somebody they know has done this and understands it. And the people that are looking down at people who are, their kindred spirits. So the culture in the company is just so special. Everybody's working together all the time. Everybody's pushing each other to succeed. Everybody's in kind of a little competition. The production people, they like to ring the bell when they get their work orders done, and somebody likes to ring the bell more often during the day.
The idea of going out and knowing that you're doing something that's beneficial to the environment, to other people and all, and enjoying what you do and having, fun at what you're doing, those are not mutually exclusive goals.
They're not. On our production floor, what you're going to see are people singing, people laughing, people, just a bust out of this joyous laughter when somebody tells a joke. That's what's going on our production floor all the time, and I really appreciate it back there. There's some great guys. There's some great people.
What I want to do is Harold, you wanted to have Robb tell us a little bit more about the product, and then I do want to backtrack, and I'm always curious about the pathway that got you to where you are now.
Sure. The product is really fascinating. The product is a relatively small piece of titanium that's excited by piezoelectric transducers, which are similar to the pickups in this microphone right here. So we put a very small amount of power into those transducers, usually around 3 watts, and that causes them to vibrate at an ultrasonic frequency, and that vibration is what breaks up liquid into small droplets. Now, because it breaks up the liquid with ultrasonic vibration instead of using a pressure atomizer or another type of spray that you might have seen, right, the droplets all actually fall off the tip of the atomizer, and they're all the same size. So when the droplets fall off the tip and they're all the same size, then we can shape the plume of that with very low pressure air. And the side benefit of this project is that the nozzles actually can't clog. So basically, if you have any kind of a process that needs to be exactly repeatable, or you have any kind of process that has very expensive chemistry, or you have any kind of process where the chemistry might be a little bit dangerous, then it's a perfect niche market for us. And the product is made with a very high level of quality, and the demonstration of that is that we're used a lot of times in medical applications, and we're really expanding into the semiconductor industry. And I can tell you, in my laboratory every day, and last week and just last month, we have groundbreaking projects going on with major companies, major research organizations, universities, government labs. The things that are going on in my laboratory on a regular basis they just blow your mind, and it makes it really exciting to work there.
Is that a typical process? Is that you reach out to a customer and give your kind of broad capabilities, and then that maybe customer comes back to you with looking for a solution to a manufacturing problem or a process problem that they have, or do you introduce the concept of efficiency to them? That's
one of the many ways. I mean, there's a lot of ways that things come up. Our name gets spread around by word of mouth. Somebody leaves a government lab and goes to the private industry and says, wow, I know a technology that can help you do that better and safer and more economically and with better efficiency. and they bring a process in. But we also have a very large line of commoditized products, that people know us for: our spray fluxers, our stent coating devices. There's spray drying, there's just all these things that people just really know us well for. So we have kind of two sides of our business. One side is where there's a commodity production and flow, and those things just move out the door on a regular basis. And the other side is all this really exciting research and development stuff that we get people in our lab, with groundbreaking technology, and they need something like what we do to help, visualize that and make that become a reality. And then we build custom solutions based on what it is that they need.
And this idea about these firms that are here in the Valley, and then having their supply channels and coming up with those custom solutions, that's how the smaller businesses really carve out their niche in the world.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And then having the people that can both relate to the customer and to the technology is critical. And that's what happens at Sono-Tek, is you've got people who are smart and can understand how the technology might be applicable to the customers, but they also can communicate that. They can articulate it, and they can create a feedback loop where the customer is getting what they need, and the technology is meeting those needs.
But it wasn't really until I met Dr. Berger where his passion for knowledge and his attitude towards people just blended together in front of me and made me realize that this is the last person I need to meet right now.
Wow.
This guy's going to be I can work with him for the next 20 years.
And this idea, Rob, and to really call on businesses to bring people back into the equation, because it seems like we went through an era, or we're still in an era, where people are focused on the numbers and the bottom line, and using people in the middle as disposable expendables. No, I mean.
No, I tell you, you talk about I've heard on your show a couple of times other manufacturers talk about lean manufacturing.
Yes.
And one of the principles of lean manufacturing is to empower your staff, to empower your people. And if you treat them like they're, disposable, then you're never going to get out of them what their real potential is. If you really get them to understand and believe that they're a part of the system as much as you are, as much as I am as the vice president, they're just as important to what we do. Then the way that they produce and the way that they innovate and the way that they deliver just becomes, it becomes transcendental. It becomes really a different thing.
When you create that culture,
and it is culture. It is culture.
It is. And I know that Sono-Tek, I know many of our members, it starts with the hiring process. It starts with, who are you going to bring into your family?
Yes.
That is your company. And that becomes, a critical part. And I know that I know this company and many of our members take it very seriously. And it's not easy to, crack into to companies like this.
To go out there and speak once or twice, to pick a couple of interns and to get to know them, to get them exposed to the really fascinating things that we do, and then you see that one brilliant spark out there, and you grab them and you add them to your team.
But we've also tried to reach down a little bit to the high school as well. Sono-Tek has hosted a couple of manufacturing day events, and maybe you want to talk about how those couple of days went with the one 2 years ago with New Paltz and this past year with Highland.
Yeah, those were both really great events. We bring between 30 and 60 kids over, and we split them into small groups, and we take them on a tour of the facility. We explain to them how our technology works and show them a couple of examples. We walk them down the research manufacturing line, and we tell them, this machine is for IBM. This machine is going across to the German version of the FBI. This machine is going to Russia. This is going to work on this new technology. And at one point or other during that little exchange, each one of them you see start to respond and start to open up and start to think about what they want to do in their life. And we sit down and we, give them a little pep talk about STEM, about science, technology, engineering, and math. I really want to give a shout out to Harold and the Council of Industry and to HVTDC and all the other local and state support. If you haven't reached out to the support groups, if you're listening out there and you haven't found out what Harold can help you with, then I encourage you to reach out.
Thanks, Rob.
Robb Engle, Vice President Engineering for Sono-Tek. Thanks for being on Hudson Valley Focus Live. And